Good day, sir. My name is Yii Xuan, and I'm going to explain question 6 in this video. Question 6 is about the aggregate loss model. And this question, N is the number of breakdowns and X is the cost. The question also states that the number of breakdowns and their cost are independent. The probability are given also. The question also have given the deductible for each breakdown affect cost. Another information given in the question is that the total standard deviation of the aggregate losses for each values of deductible is X, which the value of X is 6995.244211, and we have to find out what is the D. To solve this in Excel, we do this. Since the question has given the standard deviation of the aggregate losses, so we have to find the variance of the S first. The variance of S is calculated using this formula, which is the expected of N times with the variance of X plus with the expected of X squared times with the variance of N. Since the N and the probability is given in the question, so we have to times the N with the probability of N to get the expected of N. Expected of N is obtained through by summing up all the N times with the probability of N. And then to find the variance of N, we have to get the expected of N squared, which is the sum of N squared times with the probability of N. And then we add it up all together to get the expected of N squared. The variance is calculated by using this formula, which is the expected of N squared minus the mean, the square of the mean. Now we have to calculate the losses amount, the losses part. This table is copied from the question. And since we have to find the D first, so first we just leave it blank at a cell and we name it as D. The first deductible given in the question is D minus 1,500. Then we just by pressing the cell we named D just now minus 1,500. The loss amount is calculated as if the X is greater than the deductible, then the loss amount will be the X minus the deductible, or else it will be 0. And this is the same, which we break the formula down until the end of this table. To get the expected of losses, we times the losses with the probability of X, and then we sum it up, and then we will get the mean. The expected of L squared is also the same, which we times the losses square times with the probability, and then we add it up to get the expected of L squared, and then we can get the variance of L, which is the expected of L squared minus the mean, the square of the mean. The variance of the aggregate losses is calculated using this formula, which is the expected of N times with the variance of X, and plus with the expected of X squared times with the variance of N. And of course, the standard deviation of the aggregate losses is the square root of the variance. We do the same thing to the second and third and fourth deductible, which the second deductible is 1,800. And the loss amount is also the same, which is if X is greater than the deductible, then the loss amount will be X minus the deductible, or else it will be 0. To get the mean, we also do the same thing, which is times this one with times the loss amount with the probability of X, and then they sum it up. And the L square also, we just times the square, X square with the probability of X, and then sum it up. And the variance of x is equals to the x vector of x squared minus the mean, the square of the mean. The variance of these aggregate losses, we also get this by using the same formula, which is this one. And then we can get the standard deviation of these aggregate losses. Same thing as before, which we do the same thing. When the x is greater than the deductible, the loss amount will be the x minus the deductible, or else it will be 0. And so we can get the mean, the x vector of L squared, and then the variance, of course, and the standard deviation of these aggregate losses. We do the same to get the standard deviation for this deductible as well. And then we have to sum it up all together since the question has given the information. So we have to solve the D, we use the solver function. First set the objective cell to this one, which is the sum of the standard deviation. And then we insert the value of the cell as 6995.244211. This is given from the question. And then we set the changing variable cell as the D cell. And then we have to add this constraint, which is this cell to be an integer. It's easier for our calculation. And thus we can press the solve, and then we will get the result, which is D is equals to 2,500. And when D is 2,500, the summation of all the standard deviation is equals to 6995.244211, which is exactly the same as the question, as given in the question. Okay, that's all for my explanation. Thank you.